Welcome to part 6 of our video series on the AIMS Query Tool. In this video, you'll learn how to use the new parameter grouping feature available in the AIMS 1.74 release. Parameter groups allow you to control the order of execution in a query, similar to how parentheses affect the order of operations in a mathematical expression. Grouping parameters forces the query logic to consider the parameter group as a distinct unit so that you can target more specific results. To see this in action, let's look at a query that doesn't use parameter grouping, and then we will apply grouping to see how it changes the results. We want this query to return drug test records, so I've got the involvements, clients, and drug test results data sources lined up here. The parameters section shows that we only want drug test records that meet the following criteria. The client's date of birth is on or after January 1st, 1980, and the drug test collection date is between January 1st, 2022 and October 31st, 2022, and the test had a positive panel outcome, and the panel was amphetamine or cocaine. But with no parameter grouping, this query is returning unwanted records. We're seeing clients with birth dates before 1980, with collection dates outside the range we specified, and with negative panels when we specified we want to see only positive panels. This is happening because this OR operator tells the query to return records that match the date of birth, collection date, panel outcome, and amphetamine panel parameters, or results that match the cocaine panel parameter while not having to match any of these previous parameters. This doesn't do us any good, but it's where parameter grouping can help. To get this query to return the records we want, we must group the panel parameters so that the query logic treats them as a separate unit from the rest of the query. That way, the OR operator is contained within the group and doesn't allow the query logic to ignore the parameters before it. To group these parameters, select the checkboxes next to them, then click the group icon. The AND or OR operator for the first parameter in the group determines the logic sequence for the group as a unit. I want the query to return records that meet all of these parameters and also have an amphetamine or cocaine panel, so I'll leave this AND operator as is. With proper parameter grouping as shown here, we now get the records we're looking for. We see clients with dates of birth in 1980 or later, with in-range collection dates, and positive panels for amphetamine or cocaine. You can also create multiple parameter groups within a query. We want this query to return drug test records for clients born on or after January 1st, 1980 that came from Phoenix Drug Court or Scottsdale Drug Court. Additionally, the panel must be positive for amphetamine or cocaine. To get the right records, we must create a group for the testing location parameters and a second group for the panel parameters. Notice how the OR operators become tucked within the groups. The query logic can now evaluate each group as a distinct unit. This forces the query to only return the specified records as shown here. You can also nest parameter groups within other groups to create more complex queries that target specific results. We want this query to return drug test records for clients born on or after January 1st, 1980 with a positive panel. Additionally, the test records must come from either Scottsdale Drug Court, where the panel must be for amphetamine or cocaine, or they can come from Phoenix Drug Court, where the panel must be for opiates. We must first start by grouping the panel parameters to return records for amphetamine or cocaine. Then we must create a separate group for each testing location. I want the amphetamine or cocaine records to come from Scottsdale Drug Court only, so I'll put those parameters in one group. Notice how the amphetamine and cocaine parameter group becomes nested within the larger group that includes the Scottsdale Drug Court parameter. Then I want the opiate parameter to only come from Phoenix Drug Court, so I'll put those parameters in a separate group. Now notice this OR operator. Recall from earlier in this video that the AND or OR operator for the first parameter in the group determines the logic sequence for the group as a unit. Since this first parameter in this group has an OR operator, it's telling the query that it must find records that meet these parameters above, or it can just find records from this group, from Phoenix Drug Court, that include an opiate panel. That means the query is allowed to ignore these parameters above, which would give me opiate panels that are negative or outside the date of birth range, and so on. To get the query to return the correct records, we need to create one more group to force the query to carry out the logic as we specified, with the date of birth on or after January 1st, 1980, and with a positive panel outcome, and with the record coming from this larger group, which must include one of these specified testing locations with the proper specified panel. And there we go. All the clients have a date of birth of 1980 or later, and the records coming from Scottsdale Drug Court are positive for amphetamine or cocaine, and the records coming from Phoenix Drug Court are positive for opiates. Lastly, to remove a parameter group from a query, just click on the icon joining the parameters, and the group is gone. Now you know how to use parameter groups to enhance your queries. Thanks for watching.